Zero plans for Sasha Banks and Naomi's WWE return. Plus, WWE are urgently calling up NXT stars, and WWE confirm a return to Saudi Arabia. It is all in the wrestling news right now. The Sasha Banks and Naomi situation rumbles on. Wrestling Observer Radio's Brian Alvarez confirming a report from Ringside News that said that creative are not working on a single thing now for Sasha Banks and Naomi. There are, at this point, zero plans for them to return, and there is zero talk about the two of them as it pertains to creative. Which I'm not really surprised.
No,
since
not
they're
at all.
Suspended.
Yeah, if I were in their position, would you want to go back after being slagged off?
Not after all. I'm really frustrated with the way they've just thrown them under the metaphorical bus with everything. I think that's bad. Bad form.
Yeah, and it was never going to especially reflect well on WWE. Just thinking of it from a sort of PR perspective, it's just like
even
it was
if
necessary.
Yeah, even if everything was the way that it panned out, and they, even in the unlikely event that it was like, oh, they were ungrateful, they were disrespectful, they hated the fans. By putting it out there, you're demonizing yourself as well as them.
That's it.
So you're gonna create division. So surely it's a case of just sort of dealing with it quietly. That's surely a better option.
That's the sensible thing to do, because actually I would suggest that it's turned crowd support even more in the favour of Sasha Banks and Naomi. Obviously, I would suggest that they are probably now just waiting for their contracts to run out. Naomi reportedly only has a few months, Sasha a similar amount of time, but they haven't got long left. I would expect at this point, I think Sasha's going to go and do films. She feels like a big star that could just, that crossover appeal.
I heard Stephen Larson saying, and I thought, you know what, you're on the money with this. And Stephen Larson, they said that Sasha Banks is slumming it with wrestling, and there is such a big star in her to go and do other things.
I think that's fair.
And I think that's a really good assessment by the lads.
It's so sad that, as two wrestling fans, that Stephen Larson would say that, you and I would agree with them, by the way, that wrestling is seen down here, isn't it? It's a shame that this is now, like any big star, is probably going to end up using it as a stepping stone to Hollywood. Like Roman's going to do it. We've seen Cena do it. Rock, obviously. And I guess, Hollywood's bigger than wrestling. It always will be. But I'm not sure that we'll ever get proper lifers again. I think most people might end up using this as a way to get to something bigger.
Well, this is what happens when you present, like you're presenting WWE as a media product, a media powerhouse. So therefore, yeah, you are going to have that sort of comparison to movies and to TV. If you're not going to treat them like a sport, then yeah, you're going to treat them like an entertainment product, like you get with Netflix, like you get with Disney Plus, like you get with Peacock, like you get with the BBC, and therefore there is going to be that element of crossover that way. Yeah. You're presenting them in that way.
But like obviously Hogan did it back in the day, did Hollywood.
Young sprightly Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, to moderate success.
How dare you?
I'm not sure that we'll get your Bret Harts and your Shawn Michaels who just properly have it in their mind to stick around forever. I imagine there are, maybe Rollins or something like that. But you can see Becky going on to do stuff, Bianca, like a lot of these people. Anyway, like good luck to them. Good luck. If that's where the money is, fair play. And Naomi, I don't know what she'll do next.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I don't know whether she might try and do the Hollywood thing as well.
Maybe.
I could see her doing something like that. There is a lot of discussion away from it a bit. And it's with everything going on, it feels like, a meaningless bit of conversation. But there's a lot of discussion on when Sasha and Naomi left Raw on Monday, because there are a few sources that say they left hours before the show started. And there are some sources like Fightful Select that say actually they left as the show was beginning. And whether I think if this gets into a legal tussle, maybe that could potentially rear its head, because WWE were arguing like, oh, they had this match advertised, they let the fans down, and then the argument is, was the match advertised? Knowing everything was going on, I don't remember them advertising a 6-pack challenge.
No. That is really interesting. That is really interesting. Yeah, I had heard varying reports on that, so it's good to get some clarification from Fightful Select.
The other thing as well that I wanted to mention, and it's not listed here because I saw it on Twitter, why was Sasha Banks carrying a watermelon into the arena? There's a video did the rounds of Sasha Banks arriving. She's carrying a full watermelon with her. And whether it's a nice healthy snack. Here's a watermelon. I was just intrigued
delicious.
by it. Yeah. Or is this her getting into the world of movies? And is this her auditioning for the reboot of Dirty Dancing?
I'm not seeing. I don't get it.
Well, if you get it, you get it. What's the knock-on effect? It's a good joke, that. My dad's watching. He'll like that. The captain will like that.
The knock-on effect is they've got no tag teams. Right?
That was the knock 4 effect. They didn't have tag teams before.
True.
But
They've
now
got one fewer tag teams, which leaves them with 2, maybe? We'll go through some. So essentially, they now need to get some tag teams together. So WWE are planning urgent NXT call-ups. Alvarez noting on Observer Live that WWE plans on bringing in some teams from NXT to fill in spots in the tournament, the upcoming tournament for the vacant tag team championship.
I like the idea of people who are writing the shows hearing Michael Cole go, there'll be a tournament, and them going, what? Who have we got?
So the way it works is the tournament happens, and then the winner of the tournament goes on to face John Laurinaitis, who is the current holder of the Women's Tag Team Championships. So they sent down word down to NXT to think about some women that might be able to. So
this was just this. What I've got here is just I just went through the roster of NXT and NXT UK, and I just went, who could they pull?
Yeah,
for this tournament. And you know what? It's not a short supply.
No, Toxic Attraction, big name there. I think that's decent, isn't it? You have got Katana Chance and Caden Carter, long-time established NXT tag team there. Valentina Farrow and Amari Miller.
They were in the Dusty Classic. So they're not they're not like a deeply established team, but they're kind of a team.
Yeah, Roxanne Perez and Wendy Chu.
They challenged for the titles the other week.
Slim pickings. And you've got Zaya Brookside and Eliza Alexander, Lizzie Evo.
Now that I'm quite intrigued by, because NXT on NXT UK, Zaya Brookside and Eliza Alexander are a good bunch of angry Scouse women, and I like their chemistry. And whether or not something like this, because this would have like a knock-on effect. This could speed up the process of getting them from NXT UK into NXT off of America. Bolster up a tag division there. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, fair.
In terms of the main roster teams that we've got, Doudrop and Nikki ASH, they seem the most likely to leave as the WWE Tag Champions once they beat Laurinaitis. And then Natalya and Shayna Baszler is the only other established team. So then I've just sort of bounced around a few here. Reunite Carmella and Queen Zelina.
Sure.
Why not? Dana Brooke and Tamina, because they've been feuding over the 24/7 title. Can they coexist? And Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan.
Probably just scrap the titles, I reckon. No, you know what? They've made this problem for themselves. They really have. I've got no sympathy here in that they have not properly invested in those titles since the start. Seriously. And they've been used variously throughout their lineage to just further singles feuds. What's the point? What's the point? Like, this is going to sound horrible, but with the way that they've been treated, who cares? It's
so sad that's how we feel.
It really is.
Because the whole thing with Sasha Banks, one of the things with Sasha Banks was that she was really keen to work with younger talent and also develop the tag team titles. When what's kind of come out through numerous reports is that when she was told she wasn't getting the WrestleMania main event and she was going to be in the tag team division, she's like, okay, look, this isn't what I wanted, but I'm going to make the best of this. Naomi and we're going to make the best of this. We're going to do the best for the division. We're going to make this a turning point of the division, like I did with Sasha Banks and Bayley.
Yeah.
Like with Sasha, that was a great run for the women's tag titles.
No, but then it was used in a singles feud, wasn't it? I'd argue.
So when Sasha saw the writing on the wall with that again, it's like, no, I want to work. I want to make a tag. Why won't you let me tag division?
Hey, listen, right, them walking out might be that turning point.
Maybe.
It could be. Maybe they'll pull their finger out and do it properly. Next week, Lacey Evans making her in-ring return. Lacey Evans returning for her first match for over a year.
February 15th was the last one, I believe. 2021.
Bloody hell.
Last time we saw her.
Been a while.
Yeah.
Been a while.
It's been a while.
Who's that?
Stained. Every time anyone says it's been a while, my head goes, it's been a while. I'm
on the outside. I love that. I don't know what that was.
I like the version where they're doing it live.
When I'm
Fred
cleaning
Durst
windows.
sat next to him on the step going, hey, Stained, mate. You know it. You're going to look it up later.
Love Kerrang.
Me too. So I don't know whether, they seem to have an idea for her. And they seem to be going with it. We'll see how we go. Let's look ahead for another return. The return to Saudi Arabia in November. So WWE have announced that they will return to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia on the 5th of November. Gunpowder, Treason, and Plot for Crown Jewel. Now, this happening in November. Is this the end of Survivor Series?
No, probably not.
I hope not.
Survivor Series has been dying for a long time.
It has, but it can be. We can rebuild him.
Essentially, right? Yeah, the time has gone that we just want to see big teams of babyfaces versus big teams of heels. But it's just a name, isn't it? It's just do someone else with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And they've been doing that, haven't they? They do the one team classic Survivor Series team match that they see, and I think that's fine. It's still got a bit of prestige to it. Or maybe they just shift it and do it in Saudi Arabia and call it Super Survivor Series.
Super Survivor Series, now available for the SNES.
The greatest.
More news throughout the day as we get it at Cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye, brother.